Okay, here we go. A great circle into two equal halves. We all know the equator, but you can actually draw an infinite number of great circles by extending a line between any 2 points on the globe, continue it around the backside, and you got your great circle. To define our imaginary line, we're going to start with two really well-known ancient sites, the pyramids at Giza in Egypt and the Nazca lines on the coast of Peru. Now we've got our imaginary line, we're going to start back at the beginning and follow it around to see what else we run into. For 4,000 years, the pyramids at Giza were the tallest structure ever built by man. The adjacent Sphinx is even older, probably serving as a gateway to the afterlife for some pre-Egyptian civilization. Fitting then that today you can admire it from across the street while slowly killing yourself with a deep dish meat lovers combo. Tracing the line deep into the Sahara, we find the oasis of Siwa, home to the Oracle of Amun-Ra, where in 332 BC, Alexander the Great marched 500 miles in the wrong direction just to ask it if he was a god. The Oracle told him yes. That has nothing to do with imaginary lines, it's just awesome. Heading back west, we follow Moses' path across Egypt, across Israel, and into Jordan, where we find the Nabatean city of Petra. Some people remember Petra as the birthplace of the Arabic language. Most of us remember it as where Indiana Jones found the Holy Grail. Crossing into Iraq, we find the ancient Sumerian city of Ur, which is one of the oldest human settlements in existence. Somewhere around 2,000 years ago, a guy named Abraham was born here, grew up here, and then wandered off with his super hot but infertile wife Sarah to start the Hebrew tribe. Crossing into Iran, we find Persepolis, capital of the unbelievably vast Persian Empire until it was conquered by Alexander the Great. Still coasting on his godliness, Alexander got drunk and decided to burn the whole city down on a dare, which is why the Persians still know him today as Alexander the Douche. In Pakistan, we find the Harappan city of Mohenjo-Daro, which was one of the most advanced cities in the world for 1,000 years until the Harappan people spontaneously disappeared in an archaeological puff of smoke. No one knows why this happened because no one can read their handwriting. Crossing into Asia, we pass through ancient cities in India, Burma, Thailand, and Cambodia, which brings the tally up to 10 sites that pass directly through the line. Then we cross into the giant blue emptiness of the South Pacific, where the line crosses directly through a tiny little speck of land that we know as Easter Island, home of the Rapa Nui people who carved hundreds of giant stone heads and scattered them all over the place for no good reason. Whew, okay, breath. Entering into South America, we find that Machu Picchu is a little bit too far north of the line, but if we head south on the famous Inca Trail, we soon run into the much larger city of Ollantaytambo, which is actually directly underneath the imaginary line. Finally, our last stop, the massive line drawings of the Nazca people, which are so big they can only be seen from the air. They don't show up great in satellite images though, so I've overlaid a map on top of it, and you'll notice that the drawings are not oriented on the north-south polar axis, they're actually matching the imaginary line.
When Masons came to America, they practiced their trade in the same way they had in Europe, embedding secret codes within the design and foundation of the American colonies. Some believe this may account for the geographic location of the 5 great Revolutionary War cities. In particular, Boston, New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. have all been built in perfect alignment along the eastern seaboard. These circles are supposedly like lines of power upon which significant sites are built. It's like the pyramids, Easter Island, the Mayan and Aztec cities are all built upon these great circles.
Extending the alignment from Boston to the northeast towards Europe, the alignment crosses over the Atlantic and crosses into England and crosses over Stonehenge, which of course is one of the more significant monuments certainly in England and arguably anywhere.
Can it be coincidental that the early colonists built these 5 cities in perfect alignment with each other and in perfect alignment with Stonehenge? Allison admits that many of the ancient monuments are aligned on ley lines or great circles within a fraction of 1 degree, a distance that sometimes equals 15 or 20 miles. But in the link between the old world and the new, there is a 0 deviation between the 5 American cities and England's mysterious Stonehenge.
The Rosicrucians came ashore very early on in the founding of the New World. The Masons were also there from the beginning, And I think from very early on, this if you will, cartel, this occult cartel of various groups, basically had it as their goal to establish a society on this continent that was wholly given over